you asked me to guess who it was, Brian.
I know.
So
That's why I thought it was funny. That's why I said pick one.
yeah. So yeah, that was a trip. So yeah, pretty cool. So
Synchronicities happen. I mean, it
it's
happens.
happening a lot now, and I had to go ask someone, because I don't know Samuel. I'm just getting these images
Oh,
sent to my head,
when did
and I had to go ask someone who knows about him. I'm going, is this what this is and this is? Yep. Oh, okay, that's him. But yeah, busy
Awesome.
morning.
Awesome.
That's cool.
But
So when you,
go ahead, Brian.
What's up, Mike?
oh, I was going to ask about the difference between the presence of Abaddon and Michael. When you like, can you describe the presence between the two of them?
Okay, when I'm painting Abaddon's, paint goes all over the place. He rushes. Lord Abaddon is not the type of entity to work with if you're a procrastinator. He wants things done like yesterday. He's got a go, 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 go type energy. And it's like, that word that I wrote on that painting, that was actually his handwriting. He took control of my hand and wrote that at the end. Um, with Archangel Michael, right now I'm just painting the base color, and it's like slow. It's like a massage, like you're massaging the paint into the canvas, really just slow type. So it's
Slow
like a big
methodology.
change. It's a big change. So,
So with some of the other stuff that you've been interacting with, how many other things are making themselves known now that you're tapping into these higher energies? Like you've been dealing with the demons and the fallen and the elder gods, and now you're dealing with celestials.
yeah, so Archangel Michael was the first one that stepped up of the angels. Next, I have Archangel Gabriel, the one that tried to delete me before. Now he wants his sigil painted. So I said, well, I understand possibly why you tried to delete me. I'll still do yours. Um, then I have Archangel Zachiel. Um, and then after Archangel Zachiel, I have Karan's on. She wants hers done. Then Odin popped up. He wants his done. After Odin, I have King Paimon that wants done. And I thought, okay, I'm going to have a little break now. Nope. Today, Satan popped up, wants his done. And now Samiel.
Well, shit, you've got the wild card pack of craziness going on over there. So speaking of cards, so when you're done drawing them, right, when you're done painting them, right, would you, while you're thinking the thoughts of the painting and such like that, would the spirits be amenable to having those images put onto like trading cards or something, so that way we can offer to those communities some way that they can tap into these higher worlds through inclusion of your artwork in those gateways?
Yeah. I mean, I'm spreading them on the internet, so they have no problem.
That's
So,
fantastic.
but the ones that I'm doing right now, they're blooded and they're meant for my wall. But pictures, like copies of them are fine.
Yeah,
Because each one of them, I kid you not, each one of them has a specific place they want on my wall.
that's awesome.
So,
When building it, when constructing the temple space, right, when you've got all of these things in there, it would be really cool once you get everything all up and you placed out on the wall, right, then you draw a little chart as to which one was where, so that way we can figure out in a 3D space, well, this is where that energy is.
yeah, I can do that. They don't mind it. It's just that the original ones are meant for me
Oh
because
yeah,
they are blooded. They require my blood. But yeah, they're amendable to having copies of it.
that's cool. I muted Brian because his mic was going all screwy again. Till that gets
I
sorted.
don't know how to make copies of them.
But no, we could figure it out as far as like getting a high res image for it or getting it re-rendered or some such by a graphic artist, like into a digital format. We just got to get a really good picture of it. So if you know
Okay.
anybody with a camera,
I just have my phone. I don't know anyone with a camera.
ooh, that sound.
And it's coming from my voice. I don't know why.
Yeah, no, it's all good. It's all good. So when Omenztar gets back, we'll have to hear about his adventures into the cemetery. Because welcome back.
I'm back. I just had to use the bathroom real fast.
Yay, bio breaks.
Huh?
I said, when I turn the oven on, I don't know how to open it.
But this is exciting stuff. Is to be able to because there's a fella here in town that I met last night who does 3D rendering, or he'll do laser engraving, so we can get this stuff done in slate, so we can use the grid work and stuff like that on a stone tile and put that on an altar, put that out on a piece of grass or out into the cemetery with us when we go, so that way we can create a place of meeting where we can project it or get more engagement with physical stuff that people can use that's easier access than it has been, right? So it's like this has been a very reliant on the individual sorcerer to supply their own materials for this. Like we haven't had the material available for students to be able to take this stuff with them, right? And so in the cemetery, when you were there last night, what tools did you wish you had that you didn't?
The dowsing rods.
Okay.
Yeah, because I had to go out and buy a cheap freaking pendulum that had a cheap chain.
Did it break?
The bulb on the chain broke, but not the pendulum. So I was still able to use it.
Wow.
Just the chain itself was made cheaply. Charged me $14 for the stupid shit.
That sucks. And that's the problem with a lot of the pendulums. Like you need something that's going to be able to handle the pulling in and out of the pocket, right? Tony was working on trying to source good pendulums. He actually had ordered a few. So if you want to reach out to him through the Brotherhood or through the Grapevine, I believe it was Witchcraft and Magic. But he had some really good ideas. Like the screw was a little bit bigger. The material it was made out of was a little bit better for that. So stuff to look for is to figure out, okay, well, this is the flaw of the pendulum design. How do we fix it? Or which one do we source so that way when you get one, you're not going to have one that's going to break immediately. So we're not wasting money on it. You know,
it's just my issue is the shop up here, like price gouges everything.
How many people work there?
2. 1 hard of hearing and 1 not hard of hearing. But they have beautiful stones, they have raw stones, they have polished stones, they have a lot of good stuff there. It's just I feel it's a bit price gouging. Because, well, you got to think where they're at used to be mainly Christian and Roman Catholic. Now magic is taking over Lapeer County.
Okay.
Which is why I want to get the academy up here ASAP.
Right. And the more stuff that we have, like with Brian sigils that are getting made and cut into like necklaces or talismans or something like that, or the photos of the arts that Nikki's producing, and that way there's product, there's stuff that will allow us to get there so that people can experience their own interactions, right? Like in Taoist magic, you put the picture of Confucius on the altar and you meditate with him, right? So you connect to the spirit of the individual or the entity or what have you on your altar in order to be able to sit with that thing, that energy, that presence, in order to be able to get that next thing done, right? Like I don't know why people would want to sit with Abaddon unless he's got something that they're useful with him for, right? But I've used Abaddon in the past. I've worked with him.
I've used Abaddon in the past when trying to protect my aunt.
Yeah.
In fact, you're the one who guided me through that spell.
But there should be a warning though that Lord Abaddon, anyone who's a procrastinator, they're going to be in for a hard time because he could be a hard ass. And I'm not joking. He could be a real hard ass, but he has a soft side. So it depends on you.
Right.
Now, one thing I found that was odd is they started coming after us at the graveyard the moment we set foot. We stepped inside the fairy circle. As I was getting everything out, we instantly getting hit with all waves of emotion, waves of you need to leave. I wasn't leaving until I got what I came for. Like, I'm sorry, spirits, but I paid to be there. So your feelings, no offense, they do matter, but not as much as my want.
But see, that's the thing, right? Like, it's when you go into those places, into those situations, want versus need, right? What do you need to use them for? What do you need to bring and establish those connections for? So when you connect to the land, you feel all the stuff of all the people that were there, right? So we
Right.
a little bit of the history of this place. Can you talk a little bit about that?
1 second. Where the hell did it go? Smart view. Here it is. There we go. Oh, not what I wanted.
For the record, I had my Wi-Fi off. That's why all the errors were happening for me.
Oh, gotcha. Welcome
Here it
back.
is. Auto rotates on. Okay, there we go. There we go. Awesome. Okay, so what was the question again? I'm sorry.
So the question was, what's the history of the place where you were at last night?
Well, it is the asylum graveyard. Hidden asylum graveyard. Like, forgotten about. Well, except for those who are brave enough to go wandering in there. I mean, the prison isn't too far off from the graveyard. Like, I could walk from the graveyard to the prison, no issue. When I got out of jail, I walked past the graveyard without even knowing it was there. I didn't find out till like years after that there was a graveyard there. So, like, and then me and my friends went there, and the reason why I did have a need for that graveyard dirt, because, like I said, my friend decided to play a game on one of the tombstones without properly asking permission or leaving an offering, and he has a shadow figure that continuously follows him and tortures him through his life and has made his whole business fall apart. So, out of the kindness of my heart, because, you know, they got us into a show at one point, I wanted to get the graveyard dirt to see if I can't amend this. And so, like I said, the moment I started, before I could get everything out to start setting up the barriers, they were trying to push us out. I could feel it. My hand started trembling. Like I was shaking the whole time I was setting everything up. I'm just like, why am I shaking? Like, I just, in the back of my head, it felt like I got to do this quick or someone's going to come up behind me, which is freaking weird because never had that until this time of going into the graveyard. And especially, I figured if I paid the toll, I'd be fine. I guess asylum spirits have other plans.
Well, you know, and that's the thing is, like, that's how Jasmina went nuts, right? Like, that's how dealing with tortured souls or people that die in extremely difficult circumstance, right? They live in torture, they live in prison, in jails, in asylums, and then they die. Where do they go with the burial rites, right? Like, they're not done in many cases. They're just put in a hole and that's that, and they're off to nature or back to the earth, right? So these people were mistreated in life. Their spirits were mistreated in the afterlife, and they don't know rest. They don't know peace. They don't know calmness. They don't know what it's to be home and safe. Right? So you have to be the one that is, if you're going to be screwing with that, make it safe. Make it so that way there is a place of restoration. Make it so that there's a place of peace. So that as you go through and you sit with it.
Last night, I did the restoration spell on me and the apprentice, but I didn't do it on the land before leaving. Well, lesson learned, you know. First lesson was don't leave the barrier up. Second lesson is remember to restore the land.
Yeah. Yes. Don't leave a fixed barrier up and then try to walk through it. Like you can't do that.
It messed with my energy and everything until I brought it down and did the restoration and the cleansing on both me and my apprentice. And then while we were smoking a cigarette, I focused on our cigarettes and said, through the Saturn gate, may we be cleansed. Because tobacco is connected to Saturn. Right. So I figured that, and after that, all my energy was back. I felt better. Everything was Gucci. Except, the spirits are still pissed off.
Right. And that will take a little bit more focus, because now that you've got information about them, right? Now that you've got this level of activity, this level of information, you didn't have that yesterday. Right? It was just a field yesterday. Now you have personality. Now you have emotion to connect to the thing in the dirt that you've got connection to. You established that connection successfully. Now you have to manage the connection. Right? Now it's
my thing is though.
Relationship.
My thing though is, why was there a
Which state is that graveyard at?
Where's the graveyard at?
Which state?
Michigan.
Michigan.
Yep. Now my thing is, why was there a fairy circle on the grave?
Why was there a what? It's scared.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I don't get why there was a fairy ring around the grave. Like it started before the headstone and went around the grave as if it was, they were dancing around the dead body.
Perhaps it was a magician before he passed away.
I don't know.
Had some sort of power.
We can't find anything on the guy. Like, we just know that he died in Lapeer and that he wasn't from Lapeer. And that he's buried in the Oakdale Cemetery, which was once known as the Lapeer Community Cemetery, which is also also holds a lot of the asylum victims. Those are all unmarked graves, though.
Could he have been from the asylum, but because he was,
I believe
had the power
in the obituary, but I can't find anything on him. Like, literally, this dude is just there. But there was a fairy ring. There was, like I said, it felt off. Like, my apprentice wanted to hit me upside the head with my phone, which we were using for light. But she fought back the urge to, and, showed real good restraint. But they said that there was one other time they felt like this, but they didn't have as much control. Like, I feel like the barriers did their job, but something was still off. I think the fairy ring might have had something to do with it. I mean, the spirit came up, it answered. I asked if it was the same spirit of which we were, the grave we were above. It said yes. I asked if I could take some of his graveyard dirt. He said yes. I left flowers on the gravestone. The pennies in the hole I dug with my hands. I dug it with my bare hands. Like, I didn't have any tools. I felt it was only right that if I was going to a place where tortured souls would be, that I don't mind torturing my body a little bit just to get what I need. You know, so I dug with my bare hands and filled up a vial and then a small little container.
Outstanding.
And I do plan on going back with my paranormal team and doing some investigation. Then I will do the restoration.
Well, you should probably do the restoration in the interim to balance the spirits, and that way, when you do the paranormal investigation, you're not doing it in a disrupted, dangerous environment. You're doing it in an environment where you're friends and you can call out them to come and play. So that they're at peace, but they can do whimsical shit, and it's a good kind of whimsy instead of them doing whimsical shit and they're pissed off because they don't know how to regulate that interaction.
So bring it to a neutral state before we start the investigation so that I don't have that issue of them trying to push us out.
Right.
But if I was close to there, I'd go with you just to be able to touch the gravestone and feel.
I think George
what
was
I
happy
picked up.
that I gave him daisies because I gave him 3 daisies.
3, that's the number.
Oh,
Power, one of the power numbers.
outstanding. Outstanding. I appreciate your share for this today. Like, thank you for that. Like, this is wonderful. And congratulations on your first foray into this kind of work with those. Right? Like, you've got that presence of the spirits. Like you said already, like it was, you didn't feel like this before. You hadn't experienced this kind of thing before. So
I mean, that's also probably because I didn't have the planetary energies at one point run through my body.
that too.
It also could be possibly the fact that I'm connected to the Saturn energy in such a way through the well.
Right. And so you've got your own flavor of work that you've cultivated through your own experiences in your own journey into sorcery, right? And like, that's one of the coolest things about teaching sorcery and having people pick up certain types of spells or certain types of rituals, because then you can incorporate them into your practice and it will make your practice unique and of its own. Like, your stories are different than Glad of War's stories, which are different than Wicked Angel's stories, which are different than Nikki's stories, which are different than my stories. And everybody's comes together, and we're all doing similar things with spirit interaction, right? We're all doing these kinds of things where you can make the magic your own. And that's what you're doing, and I think it's outstanding. So the more we can document it, the more you can study it, the more you can do it safely, so you're not endangering people. But the fact that your apprentice that you took into the cemetery with you, right, to help hold your camera and things like that, was able to overcome the urges of base imprint, right? Like, if they had not a barrier up, would there still be that between? Like, would you have gotten hit last night if there wasn't a barrier that you put over?
I honestly think I would have, but the twin pentagram spell came in handy.
Outstanding.
Because I used the fairy ring as the guidelines of the barrier.
So that also, pentagrams are the non-repeating shape. So they fix the plane of origin or the plane of desire. So you've got one plane below you, one plane above you, and it's like a tube between is essentially what that gets established. So for the folks in the audience that are watching this, or they're watching the replay of it, that's the concept behind this particular spell that he's using. So,
and I'm glad I chose to put that in some of the work I plan on putting out later on, because it would definitely help with those who are considered lost witches. Because I knew I wanted that spell when I was sleeping under a bush a couple weeks ago, and well, it came in handy last night.
That's outstanding.
Why were you sleeping in a bush?
Well, because Alex enjoys being homeless.
Oh,
I don't mind.
What's that?
I don't mind being homeless. I don't mind having nothing because the spirits guide me. The spirits give me everything I need. They guide me to where I need to go. They guide me to food. They guide me to a place to sleep. Being that close to nature, I love it. When I had my girlfriend had to talk me out of it. I wanted to, if I were to ever get severely ill, like say cancer or something, don't bother putting me in a hospital. Let me walk until I die. Let me travel. Let me see the beauty of the land one last time. You know, I'm a wanderer. That's what I do. I only settled down because I ended up with kids.
Yeah.
I know that feeling more than most.
Yeah.
So
I
Well,
just
my phone's
escaped
about to die. I'll
through
catch
the
y'all later.
art.
what was that?
My phone's
I
about
said,
to
I
die.
just-
I'll catch y'all later. So I'm sorry to cut this short, but much love. Thank you for having me on to explain my story.
Thank you. I appreciate everybody.
Huh?
What's that? He's muted.
I said thanks, Alex. Sorry.
Thank you.
Have a good one.
Will do.
Everybody stay safe. Thank you for tuning in today.